When I'm working with somebody on a relationship, I'm using what's called the interpersonal model of Team CBT. And with this model, I'm inviting the person to just take a look at what are they doing that causes the problems in their relationship? What can they change? Because that's all that I can work on with them. I can't help them do things to make the other person behave differently. Basically, no good has ever come of that, right? Of trying to make somebody else change. But if somebody is willing to take a really close look at themselves and think, what do I not like about what's going on in my relationship? And how am I forcing the other person to treat me in the way that I don't like? And what can I do to change what it is that I'm doing that would have a big impact on our relationship? And the most important thing that we've found that a person can do is work on their communication skills. And so if you want to improve a relationship with anybody, a big thing is to learn how to talk with your ear. And EAR is an acronym that stands for empathy, assertiveness, and respect. And we say talk with your ear also because it's a little bit of a joke that's saying learn how to listen a lot more than actually do the talking, right? And so when I work with somebody on improving a relationship, I'm teaching them what's called the 5 secrets of effective communication. Under E equals empathy of that EAR model, we have 3 of those 5 secrets because empathy is such a huge, important part about what we would be doing. So the first thing is going to be using the disarming technique. And that's where we learn to find the truth in what the other person is saying, even if they're being unreasonable or unfair. Especially if they have a criticism of us, right? We're going to find some way that we can agree with what it is that they're saying. Then we're also going to be using thought and feeling empathy. And thought empathy is simply the ability to repeat back to somebody what they've just said to us, even in the heat of a conflict, with at least 95% accuracy. And that's way harder to do than most people think it is. Because let's say if you and I were having an argument right now and you were telling me a bunch of stuff that you don't like about me and how I've been treating you, as I'm listening to you, I'm probably defending myself in my own mind, right? And I'm probably like just basically waiting for you to pause so that I can jump in and tell you all of the reasons why you're wrong, right? And defend myself, right? And that's probably what I've been thinking about. So this is asking somebody to do something totally different. It's to listen so well to what it is that you said, but I could repeat it back to you almost word for word in the language that you used. And then feeling empathy is simply being able to try to see things through your eyes and kind of put myself in your shoes and see all of this through your perspective and how it feels to be you in this situation. And to take some guesses at some actual feelings that you might be having. The third secret would be inquiry, which is where we simply ask gentle probing questions to invite the person to tell us more about what they've been telling us. And that can be hard to do because let's face it, if you and I are having an argument and you're telling me all kinds of things that you don't like about me, I'm probably not going to want to say, you're right, tell me more about how awful I am, right? But that's actually a great way of improving a relationship with somebody, is saying, even when you're mad at me, like I'm kind of willing to go to the gates of hell with you and listen to like what it is that you don't like about me because I care that much about you, right? The second category, that A equals assertiveness, under that, the secret that we're talking about is I feel statements. So when I say assertiveness, I don't mean like assertiveness training where I'm sort of teaching somebody like how to get what they want or to stand up for themselves. What I'm really saying is, can I share with you what I'm feeling, right? Like what feelings am I having in this moment? It's kind of inviting the person to be a little vulnerable. I might say, well, you know, right now I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling frustrated, or, you know, I'm feeling a little bit down on myself because of what you've been telling me, whatever it is that their legitimate feelings are. And then the third category, respect, that really applies to everything that we've talked about so far, because you could misuse any of these secrets of effective communication by being disrespectful. So you have to think about respect across the board the whole time. And then the secret that we use that falls under respect is called stroking, or sometimes people don't like that term, so we use affirming, right? But it's basically being able to find something genuinely positive to say about the other person, even in the heat of an argument, right? And so I can kind of give you an example of how to bring this to life so it doesn't just sound like a list of, tools to use. And I'll use it in the context of like therapy, right? So let's say, I'm the therapist and the patient says to me, Kevin, sometimes it just seems like you don't like me very much. Wow, how am I going to respond to that, right? If I'm like most people, I'm immediately going to want to convince them that they're wrong and point out, actually, I do like you. That's not true. Oh, that's so terrible that you would think that. And, and kind of point out all the things that I do that shows them that I like them. If I do that, I've proved that they're correct, basically, right? Because I haven't listened to them very well at all. So when we talk about disarming, how do I agree with somebody when they said, sometimes it seems like you don't like me very much? Well, I have to kind of listen to the meaning behind what it is that they're saying. Because effective communication wouldn't be to just say flat out, you're right, sometimes I don't like you very much, right? That's kind of cruel and harmful, right? But think about, a client in therapy who gets the impression that their therapist doesn't like them very much. Well, what has that therapist probably not done very well, right? They're probably not doing a good job of listening and being supportive and offering some warmth and concern and connecting with that person. That I can agree with, right? So I can find the truth in what they're saying by agreeing with that. So if I was going to respond to that statement using 5 secrets of effective communication, I might say something along the lines of, wow, you just told me that sometimes it seems like I don't like you very much. And that's really hard for me to hear. I can only imagine how terrible you're feeling right now. I have to say that in a way, I think you're totally right, because I haven't done a very good job of listening to you and giving you the kind of empathy and understanding and support that you really need from your therapist. And I can only imagine how much that sucks to have a therapist that doesn't listen to you very well, and you might be feeling kind of annoyed or irritated as well as really discouraged. And I'm feeling pretty badly about this, because the truth is I do like you, and doing a good job for you as your therapist is really important to me. And I think right now, what's most important is for me to listen to you and understand what this has been like. Please tell me more. Like, what's it like to have me not listen to you very well? And that's using 5 secrets. So that's kind of in a therapeutic relationship example. We can kind of think about, well, how would that help me in my relationship with somebody in my personal life? So let's say somebody is coming to me to work on improving their marriage, right? And their spouse has said to them something like, you never listen to me, right? And so I'm going to be helping that person respond to such a statement like that, using empathy, assertiveness, and respect, and using those 5 secrets of effective communication, right? So let's think about what happens when you disarm a statement like that, right? You find the truth in what the other person is saying, even if they're being a little bit ridiculous or unfair, right? So they say, you never listen to me. Now, if I'm like most people, probably what I'm going to want to say is, that's completely ridiculous. What do you mean I never listen to you? Like, I do listen to you sometimes, right? If we start going down that path, we've lost the opportunity to like get closer to the other person, right? So what we do instead is we're asking somebody to really experience like a death of the ego here, right? And be willing to be the person who has been doing some things that have room for improvement, right? So I could say something along the lines of, wow, you're totally right. I've been doing a really bad job of listening to you. Now, when I say that to somebody who just told me I never listened to them, what happens? well, all of a sudden they're just stopped, almost like a deer in the headlights. They're kind of like, what? Because they're not expecting to hear themselves be totally agreed with. And they become really receptive all of a sudden to hearing whatever else it is that we have to say, right? And so if I follow that up with something like, I feel really sad to hear you say that, and I also feel kind of defensive, like I want to stand up for myself and point out all the times I listen to you, but I realize that that would be wrong because I really haven't been listening to you very well. And I love you so much, like you're so important to me, and our relationship is really important to me. I think what you're saying is huge, and I need to know more about it. So what's it been like to have me not listen to you, right? And I'm using 5 secrets, and I'm inviting them to open up and tell me more. What am I not doing? I'm not trying to solve a problem here, right? I'm putting problem solving aside, and I'm just inviting this person to open up and tell me more and more about what it's like to be them and to have me be really crummy at listening to them, right? And the reason why we do that is because in our interpersonal model, we really believe that the urge to solve problems is the cause of most relationship problems. And the refusal to solve problems is usually the answer. And what does that mean? It kind of sounds like Yoda speak or something, right? But when I say that the urge to solve problems is the cause of most relationship problems, what I mean is we usually jump in and we try to solve that problem. And we don't really listen to what the other person is saying or connect with them and allow them to open up to us and kind of share their more vulnerable, intimate side with us, right? We lose that opportunity if we just jump into trying to solve, let's say, the problem of not listening well, or the problem of not sharing enough in the housework, let's say. And when we say the refusal to solve problems is usually the answer, well, what do we do if we're not trying to solve a problem? Well, we're using empathy, assertiveness, and respect, and learning how to really listen to that person and invite them to tell us more about what it's like to be in their shoes, so that we're really connecting on this intimate level and we're feeling closer to each other. And then, yeah, like on down the line, if there's like an actual problem to be solved, we can do that together, but we'll be feeling so close to each other that that'll be the easy part.